Hi, my name is Leslie Lupin, and I am with chrisad. And first of all, welcome to the team. Welcome to the chrisad family. Love to have you as part of our family. So first of all, I wanted to let you guys know exactly who chrisad is. chrisad was started in 1980. We have the largest database of consumer research in the world. So what we do is we study dental practices and see what are they doing to that one practice is growing and another practice isn't growing. So what happened is when we first started, we started collecting all of this research. So on the marketing that was going out, because every doctor said, hey, I want to get more new patients, right? So we gathered research, we put together this great marketing piece that we know works because it gives patients what they want. And what happened is we would have two practices that were close to each other, let's say 1.5 miles apart, same demographic and same marketing piece. One would market to one side, the other would market to the other. And what was happening is this practice would call and say, hey, Leslie, I'm getting a phenomenal response on this marketing. Then this practice would call and say, hey, I'm getting a nominal response to this marketing. I don't know if it's working. But again, same demographic, same marketing piece. So that is when we took the research that we used for the marketing that was going out and said, hey, what is going on inside these practices that is making one get such a phenomenal response? And I think you can agree too, it isn't just what goes out that says, hey, this is a great practice, but every practice internally, what is going on? What are we doing to create an environment to not only get in new patients, but to retain our current patients? And so that's really what I'm going to go through with you today. I'm going to go through the research and say, hey, this is what this practice did versus this practice. And there's nothing I'm going to say that is going to be rocket science. And you're going to say, Leslie, that is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Really, a lot of this is just some common sense things that when you hear it, you'll go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. So one of the things we want to talk about is how all of our marketing is integrated, right? So again, it's not just the marketing that's going out, but what's going on. So in the office, so this is my question to you, is what are some things that are going on in an office that is part of your marketing, knowing all of your marketing is integrated? Can you think of anything? So I'm going to give you some of the things that I came up with. One, clearly how the phones are being answered. Two, how much time did the patient have to wait to get in to get an appointment in your office? How much did they have to pay when they came in for that appointment? Did they have to fill out 30 minutes of forms, or was it a ton of paperwork? Which, by the way, not only do people not like going to the dentist, none of us liked homework growing up. So we want to make sure that we keep those pretty simple for the patient. How clean was the restroom? What was the attitude of the staff? When the patient came in, how much time were they in the chair? Were they there for a couple hours when they just wanted a cleaning? How long did they sit in the chair by themselves when no one else was in the room while the assistants and the hygienists and the doctors were gone? And did they get this massive treatment plan when they came in? How much treatment was diagnosed? So those are just some bullet points of what creates prosperity in your practice, what helps your practice grow. So those are all things to be very aware of. When we did our research, one of the words that new patients used to describe when they walked in to a dentist office for the first time was they were angry. That was how they felt. So have you ever experienced that? Have you ever had a new patient walk in and they're angry and you haven't even done anything yet? And this is why. If they're a new patient with you, that means something happened at their last practice, right? At their last dental experience, something happened to make them angry. So now they're coming into your practice, and even though you haven't done anything wrong, they automatically have that feeling. Does that make sense? So that is something that we keep perspective on. A lot of times we go, oh, it's a new patient, they're going to love us, or they already love us. But at the end of the day, we need to know the research says they're coming in and they're not happy about having to come in. So do you remember the golden rule when you were growing up? You remember it? Let me help you. Do unto others, that's right, as we want done unto us. Well, the golden rule of marketing is do unto others as they want done unto them. So it's a little bit of a twist on that, but we want to make sure we're giving patients what they want, not what we assume that we would want, right? So now is the fun part. This is where we're going to go into the research. We work with Northwestern University, so we work with a third party. They do research for us, and so I'm going to relay this research to you. And this is actually a lot of fun. So there are 50 things. When we asked patients, what are the top 50 things that you are looking for when you choose a dentist? And it is very interesting what they came up with. The most astounding was through the years we have seen the answers change a little bit. There's just been a little bit of movement in the answers. What has been going on in recent years, though, is pretty amazing. What patients are saying is, I want to go to a practice that I trust. So look at this. Out of the top 50 things patients are looking for in a practice, number one is the dentist is honest. The dentist is honest with pricing. The dentist is honest with dental condition. Number 4, the dentist maintains high standards of sanitation. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then number 5, that the dentist can be trusted. So out of 50 things in the top 5, 4 have to do with trust. That's huge. Out of the 50 things, can you guess what is the one thing that they never mentioned that they were looking for in their dentist? This always makes my doctors cry just a little bit when I tell them this. After they've taken all those CE credits, clinical excellence, they didn't even mention it. Why do you think that is? I dare say they think all dentists are the same. Hence, I just expect them to all be good, right? The one thing people look for is, who do I trust? So you're going to see on your marketing phrases that have trust in there. Your trusted family dental care. We listen, care, and explain. All along the themes of trust. Because this is not the number one thing patients are looking for, the number 1, 2, 3, and 5 thing. So this we need to put a big emphasis on. All right, so I'm going to start first with front desk. Front desk, how do you build trust when patients call in? And let's say I'm a patient and I'm calling in and I just want to make an appointment for a cleaning, right? How do you build trust? Let me tell you. You say, let me be the first to welcome you. You're absolutely going to love it here. Our doctor is fantastic. That right there. First of all, you greeted the patient. That's always important. And second of all, you are already building trust of, you haven't met this guy, but let me fill you in. He's pretty fantastic. So that is how you build trust. all right? It's not something that we say most of the time or some of the time. It is absolutely necessary. We say that phrase 100% of the time. You're going to love it here. Our doctor is fantastic. All right. Everything that I am going to tell the front desk, I am also going to talk to you assistants and you hygienists. But there's a little bit, we're going to say the same thing, but it's going to look a little bit different. So I always tell my front desk, you're who I always wanted to be. You're the high school cheerleader. You're the excitement. Rah, rah, rah. You are all about the spirit fingers, right? You're going to love it here. Doctor is fantastic. Assistants and hygienists, when you are in the back room, you cannot be all rah, rah, rah. You're going to love it here. It's amazing. You're going to freak the patient out, right? So this is how we're going to do it. Front desk, you're the high school cheerleaders. Back, you're the nurturers. You can say the same exact thing, but almost in a whisper. So what this looks like, Dr. Smith walks out of the room, and has this ever happened to you? Myself as a patient, I look to you, the assistant, and I go, do I really need that? Right? Have you heard that before? This is how you build trust. If Dr. Smith said that's what you need, absolutely. He's a conservative dentist, and so if he says it, absolutely. Oh, and he's fantastic. Do you see how you build trust in the back? Hygienist, it's the same thing. When you are back there cleaning teeth, when you're looking at the x-rays yourself, you're going to say, oh my goodness, I want Dr. Smith to come take a look at this. Man, he's such an amazing doctor. This is something that is important through and through, that we build trust. I will always go back to, I love to use analogies. So this is something to always keep in mind. When a new patient comes in, sometimes I will hear people say, oh, they Googled us and they saw our amazing reviews, so they're going to love us already. Or a friend referred them, so they're automatically going to trust us. That isn't the case. It's the same thing if you said, Leslie, I have a great guy I want to set you up with. Oh, he's awesome. He's amazing. His name is Steven, and I think he's successful, and he's fun, he's intelligent, all of these things, right? And you're going to go, Leslie, I'm going to set you guys up on a date. Now, question. When I go on that date, does that mean I trust him? Now, as a single girl, I will single girl stalk. That means I will go to his Facebook page and go, okay, what does he post? Is he going to embarrass me? I go to his LinkedIn page. Can he afford me? I will do all these Google searches on him, right? Don't judge me. So I'm going to do all of these searches, but when I am on that date, do I trust him? And I think we can all agree, no. All we're trying to do is get a second date, right? But sometimes what happens is in the dental world, we will get a new patient, and on that first date, we will actually propose to that patient. We will go, oh, this is who we are, and we just assume they trust us, and this is the huge treatment plan you need, and everything else. Remember, they are walking in angry. And so then when we assume that they trust us before they do, they are very suspicious of what is going on. So I'm going to walk back this through and go, when a patient calls in, we're going to say, first, let me be the first to welcome you. You're absolutely going to love it here. Our doctor is fantastic. And as a patient, when I walk through, if I have any questions, assistants, hygienists, you're going to say the same thing, but you're going to say, oh, isn't our doctor fantastic? And that is how you build trust. So, okay, so now I have a question for you. All right, when we did our research and we asked patients, do you know the name of your current dentists? What percentage of patients said, I know the name of my dentist? Now think about it before I give you the answer. The dentist's name is on the stationery, it's on recare cards, it's on voicemail, it's usually on the building, it is all throughout the building. How many do not remember their doctor's name? Are you ready? 61% don't remember the doctor's name. All right, next question. When we ask patients, do you remember your hygienist's name? Now, I know my hygienists out there are going to say 100% everyone remembers me, right? This is the thing to think about. You spend time with them. You talk to them, right? You talk about family stuff while you're cleaning their teeth. But what percentage of patients says, I don't know my hygienist's name? Do you think it's better or worse than the doctor? All right, are you ready? It's 90%. 90% don't remember their hygienist's name. All right, now this is the big question here. When we ask patients, do you want to take time off of work to go in for a cleaning? What percentage of patients said, I absolutely do not want to take time off of work to go in for my cleaning? Any guesses? All right, here's the answer. 85%. 85% of your community says, please don't make me come into work between 9 to 5 to get my cleaning. Don't want to take time off of work for a cleaning. That's a big percentage. When we ask patients, do you know the hours of operation at your dentist's office? Do they? Now, I will show you. Our study says 40% said that they know when their dentist is open. I'm going to say 40% are guessing because a lot of times when I do staff trainings, even staff can't always remember their own hours. Well, on Tuesday, am I open at 7? Am I open at 8? Which day do we close late? Keep that in mind. So you're going to see if convenience, which back in the day we used to sell cleanings. Now we sell convenient cleanings, right? So we're going to make that a huge emphasis on the marketing, is you don't have to take time off of work to come in here for our cleanings. I can't emphasize this enough. Your hours are your number one marketing tool. Number one. So let's say if you have an appointment at any time during the week where you're open, let's say at 7 a.m. And then let's say a couple days a week, you're open until 7 p.m. That is a huge marketing message that you want to get out all the time. Did you know we have hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.? What is your work schedule? We can work around it. That is huge because we already know 85% of your community does not want to come in between 9 to 5 to come in for their cleaning. But how do we get new patients? 9 times out of 10, it's through cleanings. So we have to make it convenient for patients to come in to get what they want. So again, we are open from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. and on Saturdays. What is your work schedule? We can work around it. Or you can say, we are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturdays. Would you like to come in this evening or tomorrow morning? Because you don't want to just tell them your hours. You actually want to give them an appointment where they don't have to take time off of work. It's the same thing. Front desk, you're going to be talking about that all the time. I am a fan also is when you answer the phone. I've got a lot of offices that'll say, thank you for calling ABC Dental. This is Leslie, where we are open from 7 to 7 and on Saturdays. How may I help you? Put that in your greeting. Again, it's your number one marketing tool. You don't want to hide it. So we're going to get into my favorite analogy, and that is my banana stand analogy. So let's say I open up a banana stand on the side of the road, right? It's a very lucrative business, this banana stand. And I open it up on the side of the road, and my ripe bananas, they sell fast. I mean, bestsellers, right? Then I have regular bananas, and they sell fine. And then I have about 20% left over is what? Rotten bananas, right? Now, as a business owner, the amazing business owner that I am of my banana stand, am I going to wait to sell all my rotten bananas before I restock my shelves? Hopefully you said no, because that would be bad business if I had a banana stand and all I had was rotten bananas, right? So what would I do? I sell my bananas. I have 20% leftover inventory that's rotten. What do? I just say, you know what? That's just lost inventory. It's the cost of doing business. And when I restock my shelves, what am I going to restock them with? What sold the fastest? My ripe bananas. So I am going to restock my shelves with a ton of ripe bananas. But what do we do in the dental world? Let me ask you, what are your first appointments that get taken? What are your ripe bananas? I'm going to guess that you said your first and last appointments of the day. Those are the ones that everyone wants, right? Those are your ripe bananas. So then you'll have some people, they'll take other times and they'll eat up some of the other appointments, and those are your rotten bananas. And then there's always those times that it's hard to get people in. And I will say this is generally between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. It's hard to get patients in, right? Now, in my banana stand that I have, every now and then, guess who I'm going to get to buy rotten bananas? My retired people love to make banana bread. And so they'll come, they'll buy those rotten bananas, they'll make banana bread. But I am not building my business model off of selling 100% of my inventory, which is my rotten bananas, right? It should be the same thing for you. All of your appointment times are not created equal, which means why would you have the same amount of appointments at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. that you do at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m.? Because the later in the day, those are your ripe bananas. You want to have way more of those than you do in the middle of the day. It is like going to a restaurant. So back in college, I used to waitress. And from about 2 to 5, I could handle the entire restaurant myself. I could handle all the tables, get everyone taken care of, drinks filled, etc. However, at 5 o'clock, it was like the stormtroopers came in, all the wait staff came in, and then they divvied it up, and I only had 4 tables to take care of. Why is that? Because when is the demand? When are the tables filling up? They're filling up past 5 o'clock. So hence, they're going to have more people come in to take care of those tables. It's the same thing in the dental world. Your first appointments and your last appointments, that is when you need to have more availability. And there's a couple ways to do that. And so this is where I would say, ask your rep, how do I create more availability during those times? One thing that I would say most of my practices do is they take their hygienist and they said, you know what, you went to hygiene school to do hygiene. So all of that extra stuff that you're doing, which is setting up the room and tearing down the room and doing x-rays and waiting around for the doctor to come do an exam, I'm going to get you an assistant so you don't have to do that anymore. And you can just do your prophies and do the cleanings. So that is something that most of my practices incorporate. And that is how they can see more people during those evening times than they can during the regular times. So I would ask your rep and they can walk you through that as well. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Do you have any questions? If so, please write them down, because these are things that you're going to want to bring up with your doctor and with a rep when they come in to see you. All right, if you're ready, we're going to go to the juggernaut that is insurance. It's actually not that complicated, and hopefully I'm going to make your life a lot easier as I give you the research. So, all right, here we go. Northwestern. When they asked patients, what type of dental insurance do you have? Let me ask you this. Do patients know anything about insurance? 100% of the time I ask this question, I get the same exact answer, no. And you are correct. Patients do not know anything about insurance, but they do know what? They get 2 free cleanings a year. So this, what I'm about to ask you, is just going to confirm what you already know. So, what type of dental insurance do you have? The most interesting part of this whole thing is not only did patients guess, because they have no idea if they have HMO, PPO, but half of the people actually skipped the question. So I had a friend who opened a practice, and he said, Leslie, it was amazing. So many people called in saying, I have HMO. And most practices would just say, we don't take HMO insurance, so we're a PPO provider, right? But instead, he was like, just come on in. I'll get you a free cleaning. And he found out 40% of the patients that came in didn't have HMO. They had PPO, but they had HMO medical. So that is something always to be aware of as well. And I will say this too. Remember, HMO patients have a job. They just checked the wrong box their first day when they were meeting with HR. So keep that in mind as well. All right. What is your annual out-of-pocket maximum for dental? Clearly, they have no idea. How much does a crown cost? Do patients know how much a crown costs? You can see right here, they have no idea. All right, so this is what I would like to ask you. We have 2 big complaints that come across when we mined the database and kind of went through our Northwestern. What they did is they went through Google reviews and Yelp reviews, and they did all this research online. The number 2 complaint, do you know what it is? I will tell you. Issues with insurance and copays. So let's go back to what we just talked about a couple minutes ago. What do patients know about insurance? Nothing, right? Except what? They get 2 free cleanings a year. So if I come in and I'm paying any money out of pocket for my cleanings, I am thinking, I don't think my insurance works very good here, right? All right, what is the number 1 dental complaint? What do you think it is? Again, it has to do with money, and this is called upsells. Whenever we tell someone they need a deep cleaning. So hygienists, I am sorry, but a lot of times this will pertain to you, right? So I'm just saying we have to be careful. A patient is coming in angry. They don't trust us, but all they know is that they get 2 free cleanings a year, and then they look at us, and then we tell them, well, actually, it's going to be $400 out of pocket. You're going to have to come in 4 times a year. Do you see how, again, that can create mistrust? So I'm not saying don't diagnose it. I'm just saying be aware. This is the number 1 complaint patients have when they go to the dental practice. All right? So you're going to hear us say a lot, and you're going to say this a lot, And you're going to see it on all of the marketing. We love your insurance. Now, why do we say we love your insurance? Because they are proud of their insurance. They're glad they have it. Nothing is worse than say, oh, you have United. Oh, I don't really like United. I don't like working with them. You know what they're going to say? Never mind, I'll go someplace else. So I always use my own personal story. Is I was 22. Needless to say, it was a few years ago. But I was 22. I just got out of college, and I had insurance. I grew up kind of poor. We never had insurance. So my teeth were a gold mine for any dentist once they finally got a hold of me. And when I called and made an appointment, and I was proud I had insurance, right? I am like bragging to everyone I have insurance. I called a practice and they said, I said, do you have United? And they're like, okay, yep, we can take United. But I went there, and when I went there, all they did was tell me about like how crappy my insurance was. They're like, oh, you have United, like we take it, but it's not that great. And I was like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. So when that doctor diagnosed all that treatment on me, did I accept anything with him? No, because I am thinking my insurance doesn't work that great here because they weren't excited about it. Now, let's skip forward. I would say 6 months, but let's be honest, it was probably more like 9 months. And I called my brother. Now, my brother is 10 years older than me. He had a company, and I asked him, hey, Derek, I have United Insurance. I need to go to a dentist. And the last place I went said they didn't like my insurance. Where am I supposed to go? In my little world, I thought everyone got a memo, and maybe I just didn't go to the mailbox that day. And he said, oh, Lizzie, I don't know where to go. All I know is make sure you go someplace that is in network. And I went, oh, what does that mean? You know what his response was? I don't know. But when I bought insurance for all my employees, the insurance rep said to go someplace in network. So here I am. We'll say I'm 23 at the time, and I call a dental practice that I saw their name somewhere. Can't tell you how I got their name. You know why? Because that's called integrated marketing. The more integrated your marketing is, the less likely people will realize how they actually called you. But anyway, so I call this office, and I now know her name is Lou, and she answered the phone. And I said, hi, I'm Leslie, and I have United. Are you guys in network with United? And you know what she said? We love United patients. In fact, anyone else you know that has United, send them on over. And then she said, however, we are not in network with United, but you come on in here because we will maximize your insurance to make sure you pay as little out of pocket as possible. Now, the first practice I went to was in network, but they didn't like dealing with United. The second practice I went to wasn't in network, but told me, we love United Insurance. Come on in. We're not in network, but we'll take care of you. And when I walked in, they treated me like a celebrity. And so guess where I went to the dentist and got all my whole mouth. I mean, I have had a lot done. Who do you think got all the work? Why, that second practice. Guess who I referred all of my friends and family to because I knew they had the same insurance as me, to that same practice. How we talk about someone's insurance is how we talk about their baby, right? Let's say you show me a picture of your child. Am I going to look at that picture and go, oh, 10 fingers, 10 toes, that works. That's fine. That looks like a good PPO plan. Here it is. No, I'm going to look at a picture of your baby and I'm going to say, oh, isn't she beautiful? Oh my goodness, look how adorable she is. I can already tell by looking at her. She is intelligent. Oh, she looks just like her mom. Oh, how beautiful. I am going to go on and on. Why? Because you're proud of that child, right? It's the same thing. People are proud of their insurance. When my niece just got a job out of college, the first thing her father asked her was, what are your benefits, right? They are proud of that insurance. So how we talk about their insurance is how we talk about their newborn baby. If you're not going to tell someone that their newborn baby is ugly and doesn't work well in your office, then you're not going to say that about their insurance. So this is how you handle insurance questions, and we're going to go through this. If someone says, hey, I have Aetna, do you guys take Aetna? The answer to that is absolutely, we love Aetna patients. In fact, anyone else you know that has that insurance, send them on over. If they ask, are you in network with Aetna? And you are, then you're going to answer, we love Aetna patients. In fact, it works especially well in this office. In fact, anyone else you know that has that insurance, send them on over. Now, let's talk about the third scenario. What if someone says, I have Aetna, are you guys a network? And the answer is no. Are we just going to say no? No. We're going to do exactly what my mom used to tell me when I was younger. If you have something bad to say, you're going to sandwich it between two things. Two good things, I might add. So it's going to look like this. I have Aetna. Are you in network with Aetna? We're going to say, we have a ton of Aetna patients, and they absolutely love it here. Are we in network? No, we are not. However, we will maximize your insurance so you will pay as little out of pocket as possible. Do you see that sandwich effect? And I'm going to say that again. We have a ton of Aetna patients, and they absolutely love it here. Are we in network? No, we are not. However, we will maximize your insurance so you will pay as little out of pocket as possible. And then what are we going to add to every insurance question? That's right. In fact, anyone else you know that has that insurance, send them on over. So I inevitably get the question, but Leslie, what if someone calls in and says, I have Aetna, and we go, yes, it works particularly well. And then they walk in and we find out it's Aetna HMO, right? This is how we are going to handle that. First of all, let me preface it with saying the reason we say, yes, it works great here is because we don't want to throw up barriers. We don't want to say we handle for PPO. Well, I take Aetna PPO, not HMO. First of all, what do we know about patients and their insurance? They don't know the difference. They don't know between PPO and HMO, so let's not confuse them. And we don't want to select and say, well, you can come here and you can come here. It confuses them. Just make it easy. But let's say someone comes in and they have HMO. How are we going to handle that? What we are going to do is we are going to have the patient walk in. We're going to get them their prophy, their exam, their x-rays. And then when they walk out, we are going to let them know, Bob, we absolutely love having you as a patient. However, you have one of these rare insurances that forces you to go someplace and won't let you come to us. Please notice that I put the onus on the insurance company and I didn't say we don't take HMO, right? So again, your insurance company won't let you come here. And then, but you can also say, but doctor so loved having you as a patient today. He completely took care of the visit. He is more than happy if you choose to go someplace else to send those x-rays with you. So that just lets them know, hey, we are going to completely take care of you because guess what? You're the community dentist. Are you here for the community or aren't you? You're going to be here for the community. And a lot of times they just need to know, oh, next year when open enrollment comes around, I just need to go over to PPO Dental because they didn't know the difference. I have some really large practices that'll see 1,000 patients a month just in hygiene. And they will say they inevitably, with seeing 1,000 patients in hygiene, they may write off 10 visits a month for HMO. What do they care if they see 10 patients and they give away 10 cleanings? But they're seeing 1,000 patients. And you know why? Because they just tell people, we love it. It works great here. Because again, how you talk about insurance is how you would talk about their baby. So they speak so positive of it. When it comes to insurance, the front desk is going to say, we love that insurance. It works great here. But now I'm going to go back to you, assistants and hygienists. What does that mean for you when you're in the back? A lot of times I always tease my assistants because if a patient asks an assistant question, like, do you know how much this is going to cost me, right? As soon as the doctor leaves the room, they're going to say, do I need to get it done? How much does it cost me? A lot of times my assistants are like, oh, I don't know. I don't handle that. I send that up to the front desk, handles all of that, right? We don't want to do that anymore. I am not saying you need to know the prices or know how much anything costs. But so let's say someone says, hey, do you know how much this is going to cost me? As an assistant, I'm going to look down at their paperwork and I'm going to go, oh, you have Aetna? Oh, that's great insurance. Man, that works amazing here. I am not sure about the exact fee because I know front desk handles that, but we have a ton of Aetna patients, so you're in good hands. Do you see how that then helps the treatment coordinator when they try to schedule that treatment? So let's look at it this way, the life cycle of a patient. The patient calls in and says, I have Aetna, do you guys take it? We love Aetna patients, it works great here. Then they're in the back and they ask the assistant, hey, do you know how much this is going to cost? And the assistant says, oh goodness, you have Aetna? That insurance works great in our office. Now when the treatment coordinator goes in, how much easier is it for her to say, Leslie, you need to get 2 crowns done. I'm so glad you have Aetna. Because of that, it's only going to be X amount out of pocket. You have now built trust and you've reassured them that their insurance works great in our office. Same thing, hygienist as well. Anytime you guys look down and you see that someone has whatever kind of insurance they have, all you have to do is just in your very nurturing tone go, oh, you have Cigna? Oh, love Cigna patients. And that's it. And that is what is going to build trust and reassure the patient that they are exactly where they are supposed to be. And they're more likely to accept treatment. So, moving on, we like to do calls on the office, just random calls to kind of find out what is being said. Remember at the beginning when I talked about those 2 offices, one that got a phenomenal response and one that got a nominal response in the research we did? This graph here shows exactly what the difference is. So I can have 2 practices, both marketing 10,000 pieces a month going out into the community. We looked at our own offices, our own stats. Remember how I said we have the largest database of stats of consumer research in the world, right? When we look at 1,600 practices, this is what we found. When we make just random calls to the office to see what patients are experiencing when they call in, the growth of the practice that markets, they're trying, right? They're marketing 10,000 pieces a month. They grow at an average of 236,000 a year. Meanwhile, I have another practice over here. They are also marketing 10,000 pieces a month. However, they make sure when someone calls in that the phone call is handled correctly every single time. Those practices grow at 1.2 million a year. That is the difference. That is the difference that takes place with when patients call in, what are they told, what is their experience like, and then again, how that experience translates to what happens when they're in the office. And there are a couple things I would like to add on. As a patient, when I come into the practice, as a front desk person, I expect you to stand and to greet me. Do not sit at your desk and be typing away and give me forms to fill out and just go, here are your forms. You stand up, you shake my hand, and you go, Leslie, it's so nice to meet you. Wonderful. Do you see the difference? Also, when I'm in the waiting room, when I am filling out paperwork, if I am older or English is my second language, please have someone go fill out the paperwork with them. Makes it a whole lot easier and is more efficient with your time as well. Hygienist, when you come out and you greet the patient, don't just say, Leslie Lupin, and look for me in the waiting room. You should know your patients well enough to know if you've never seen me before that I'm most likely Leslie, and you come up to where I'm at and you shake my hand and you go, Leslie, I'm Elizabeth. It is so great to meet you. Come on back. Again, do you see the difference in what translates into a patient experience? So I am going to go through a phone call and what it should look like. This is for everyone because this is not just for the phones. This is also should be the language that we are using throughout the office. You're going to see me be a little bit bipolar on this. So if it says ring, 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 and I'm going to say, hi, I'm Leslie. Thank you for calling. This is ABC Dental, where we are open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturdays. How may I help you? If the patient says, oh, hey, I want to schedule a cleaning. My name is Susie, and I've never been in the office before, right? What are the 3 things I'm going to say? First is, let me be the first to welcome you. You're absolutely going to love it here. And then I'm going to say, our doctors are fantastic. And then what's our number one marketing tool? Our hours. I'm then going to lead into, we have hours from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. and on Saturdays. What is your work schedule? We will work around it. So let's say I am talking to Susie. I already forgot the fake name I gave her. So let's say I'm talking to Susie and she says, oh, I work 9 to 5. I want to be able to have appointments immediately, and I want to get her in between 24 to 48 hours. So I want to be able to say, Susie, great, if you work 9 to 5, we love our working patients. I can see you this afternoon or this evening at 5:30, 6:30. I also have tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. or 7:30. I want to have lots of time to offer her. I want to have, going back to the banana stand, I want to have a lot of product on the shelf. If I only have one banana and I only say, well, you can come in Thursday at 2, you better hope that works for her, but it most likely won't. The first thing you want to do is offer those amazing appointments. And this is what I will tell you. If you're looking out and you go, Leslie, I don't have great appointments. I have one evening on Thursday and that's it. Then the first thing that you need to do is message up to your manager and to the doctor and say, hey, we don't have really many appointments left. We don't want to just say, hey, we've got 3 holes, fill those 3 holes. You want to have 50 holes in the schedule. That's a whole lot easier to fill, and you will sell so much more. So if you're looking out and you can't within 48 hours have a ton of appointments to offer to a patient to come in, please right now message up to your doctor and tell them we need more ripe bananas. So that is a main key. It's not just how soon can I get the patient in, It is, what time can I get that patient in? If you have a ton of appointments between 10 and 2, those are your rotten bananas. Don't worry about selling them. So let's go back to that phone call. When you go back to that phone call, I want to get that person in immediately. Then that patient is going to say, hey, Leslie, I have Cigna. Do you guys take Cigna? And I'm going to say, we love Cigna patients. Absolutely. It works amazing in our office. In fact, anyone you know that has that insurance, send them on over. Once I get them on the schedule, I am then going to say, let's say I'm getting them in tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I am going to tell that patient, again, Susie, my name is Leslie. I am going to see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and I look forward to meeting you. Is there any other questions you have that I can answer for you? Otherwise, I will see you then. Your goal is to make that phone call and have it last 2 minutes. It doesn't need to be any longer than that. You also want to make sure that you're not putting the person on hold. Another key thing is if that patient is calling in and they are asking for a cleaning, please do not tell them, I'm going to get you scheduled for your cleaning exam and x-rays. Remember when we talked about the number one complaint that was upsells? That's one of the upsells they're talking about. They don't know they're supposed to ask for a prophy visit. They just say, hey, I want to get a cleaning. So if they say cleaning, use their vernacular right back at them and say, absolutely, I'm going to I have you here for your cleaning tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Does that make sense? We're just going to speak their own language. So that is, our whole goal is to make this easy for you. Chrisad has built their whole philosophy on make it easy for the patient. If you give the patient what they want, then we will get what we want. What does the patient want? The patient wants a cleaning. What do we want? What we want is the exam and x-rays, and that is where the restorative is found. So you want to have lots of availability in your hygiene schedule, a ton of availability. And so that way you can continue to see more and more hygiene patients. And you're going to want to continually add hygiene so that you can see more and more new patients. Because guess what? Those new patients that you saw this month, they're going to be coming back in 6 months with more new patients. If you are not adding availability, those patients will quietly leave. They're not going to send you a flowery letter. They're just not going to come back. So this is my question for you. How easy does your office make it to get new patients on the schedule and to have returning patients come back? We want to pre-appoint 100% of the time. Corey has a great video online that talks about pre-appointing patients. Just get them on the books and get them on a time that is convenient for them. So now that you've watched this video, I know that you're going to answer the phone calls correctly every single time. I know you're going to build trust, whether it be in the front or the back. You are going to promote your number one marketing tool, which is what? Your hours. You are going to handle insurance questions very positively. We love that insurance. It works amazing here, right? And you're going to make sure to give an appointment to the patient at a time that is convenient for them. That is our goal. So what we're going to do is there's going to be a quiz at the end of this video. I would like for you to fill it out, put all the answers in there, and then give it to either your manager or the doctor, whoever you need to give that to. They're going to look at it, and then they're going to meet with you on that. Also, I've got exciting news for you guys. So when we do these random calls on the office, chrisad is such a firm believer that we want you to answer these phone calls correctly every single time because we know the difference that it makes in your practice. that at chrisad we do $1,000 drawing every month. And so every time you get A's across the board on your on the random call that we did on your office, your name goes into a drawing, and then we pull it out, and then every month we write $1,000 check to a front desk person. I will tell you, it is the best part of my job is being able to go into an office. I just was able to do it last week. Went into an office with balloons and was able to present $1,000 to that front desk person that answered that phone call correctly, and they got 100 on there. They were so excited. But that is how important it is, because we may go, we're going to give you $1,000, but we know the $100,000 that you're bringing into the office by answering those phone calls correctly. Again, welcome to the team. Love having you. Thank you so much.